Shearing time is harvest time for wool producers. It's a busy, labor-intensive period. Shearing is actually the culmination of a year of management, selection, and breeding decisions. A quality wool clip starts long before shearing begins. There are several preparation steps to help improve wool quality. Not every wool producer will be able to perform all 5 steps. Producers need to decide which steps work best for their operation in terms of labor, costs, and returns. A solid foundation based on the breed of sheep, selection emphasis, and management is essential for quality wool production. Although some sheep breeds have more valuable wool than others, all wool has value and should be prepared properly to optimize its return. The combination of your breeding program, management, wool preparation, and marketing decisions affects the price you receive for your wool. When developing a selection emphasis, set reasonable goals which are based on objectively measurable and economically important wool traits. Culling will be required. The National Sheep Improvement Program is a recommended method to help producers obtain overall selection goals, including wool. Proper management involves determining the timing and frequency of shearing and the preparation of the facility. Plan ahead to ensure that there is adequate space and labor for shearing, the facility is clean, and the equipment is available and in working order. Management decisions also involve environmental considerations, including pasture management and feeding practices. The first step in producing a quality wool clip is to minimize sources of contamination. The shearing area must be kept clean during shearing with frequent sweepings. Anything that is not wool is considered a contaminant. The second step is to sort sheep according to their wool qualities prior to shearing. While there are many ways to sort or group sheep, it is effective to sort by breed or wool type. Fleeces and off-sorts from the various wool types must be kept separate for marketing purposes. Fine wool and dual or general purpose breeds should be sorted out. These white-faced breeds of sheep are generally recognized for producing quality wool. The fine wool breeds include American Cornwall, Barula Merino, Debelay, Delane Merino, and Rambouillet. General purpose breeds include Columbia, Corriedale, Panama, and Targhee. While fin sheep and polypay are considered general purpose breeds, crossbreeding with fin sheep often results in variable wool quality, and the polypay breed is so new that wool quality can be highly variable. When sorting fine wool and general purpose breed flocks, use these guidelines where practical. Sort by breed groups. Sort sheep with extremely different quality grades of wool within the breed types. Separate replacement sheep, lambs, and rams. Separate new sheep brought onto the property. Sort flocks or bands run under different environmental conditions, and sort sick and diseased sheep into a separate group. Another major category of sheep are the meat breeds. Meat breeds are generally noted and selected for carcass traits. White-faced meat breeds include Cheviot, Dorset, fin sheep, Gulf Coast native, Montedale, North Country Cheviot, Polypay, and Texel. Non-white-face or black-face meat breeds include Clun Forest, Hampshire, Oxford, Shropshire, Southdown, Suffolk, and Tunis. Crossbred sheep within the meat breeds may also need to be grouped separately. Separating meat breed sheep should be done when it is economically beneficial to do so. Know your product and know the market requirements. Talk with your marketing representatives to determine sorting guidelines. Meat breeds are often sorted based on fiber length, degree of contamination, fiber diameter, medium versus coarse, and white face versus black face. Long wool and carpet breed sheep are breeds that generally produce long staple coarse wool. They include blue-faced Leicester, border Leicester, Coopworth, Cotswold, Lincoln, Perrindale, and Romney. Sort long wool and carpet wool sheep when economically feasible according to color, fiber length, and fiber diameter. Black or naturally colored sheep should be sheared after white-wooled sheep to prevent contamination of the white wool by colored wool fibers. Hair sheep breeds and crosses have a double coat consisting of hair or coarse wool fibers interspersed with finer wool, or they can be woolless. These include Barbados Blackbelly, California Red, Icelandic, Caracool, Katahdin, Navajo Churro, Romanoff, and St. Croix. Any required shearing of these breeds and crosses should be done after all wool sheep are shorn. Package and label this wool separately. Commercial wool mills consider wool with hair or metallated fibers as undesirable and recommend keeping these types of wool separate from all other wools. Within the breed types, shear ewe lambs or yearling replacement ewes first, then aged ewes, then rams.
Please pause now to review wool quality improvement steps performed prior to shearing.
The third step in improving wool quality is to remove all tags and prepare fleeces bellies out, untied. Wool preparation methods vary according to the breed of sheep and volume of wool. It is important that producers consult with marketing representatives and potential buyers to find out what preparation methods are best for their wool types. Stay in touch with them since requirements can change year to year or even during the year. For all preparation options, continual sweeping of the shearing area is essential to keep contaminants away from freshly shorn fleeces. Fleeces from hair sheep and their crosses require minimal preparation. Shear these sheep last and remove only severe contamination. Then fold the fleece into thirds and roll it up. Package and label this wool separately from other wools. Fleeces destined for specialty markets may require different preparation. For meat breed sheep and their crosses, the wool should be prepared according to the marketing options available, but do not over-prepare. Remove areas high in contamination such as dung and urine, tags, belly wool, and the head and neck areas. Preparing wool in this manner will reduce or limit contamination. Other benefits include improved clean yield, improved length uniformity, and consistency for marketing standardization. Fold the fleece into thirds and roll from the breech or rear to the front with flesh side out. Package and label the fleece wool, belly, and tags separately, indicating meat breed wool. For fine wool and general purpose sheep, there are two preparation options: bellies out untied and full table skirting. The bellies out untied method involves several steps. During shearing, have the shearer remove the belly wool first so the sweeper can pick it up and place it in a designated area. Also, have the shearer remove the top knot and toss it aside. It will be swept up with the tags or locks. Remove the fleece from the shearing area immediately after shearing and sweep the floor clean. Keep the sweepings or locks separate from the fleece and belly wool. Areas of high contamination should be removed from fleeces. Place the contaminated pieces either with the belly wool or locks as needed. Fold the fleece into thirds, roll from the breech or rear to the front with the flesh side out. Individual fleeces are then classed or placed into wool bags or bales. There is no need to tie fleeces with paper twine if the flock is uniform, if the sheep are separated prior to shearing, or if the wool is classed. Tied wool represents additional expense for both the grower and mill. Wool prepared bellies out untied will have three distinct lines of wool: fleece wool, belly wool, and locks. Package and label these lines separately. There are several advantages to using this method. It does not require additional labor or equipment, so there are fewer expenses. It reduces vegetable matter and other contaminants in fleece wool lines. It will not eliminate polycontamination, but restricts polycontamination to lower valued lines. It reduces short wool in fleece lines, adding length uniformity. It reduces the amount of stained wool and colored fibers in the white face fleece lines. And it standardizes wool preparation, allowing for more objective marketing. For long and carpet wool breeds, the bellies out untied preparation method is generally adequate for commercial marketing. In the United States, production of this type of wool is limited, and many producers use niche marketing to receive better prices. Wool preparation requirements for specialty or niche markets varies considerably. It is likely the wool will need to be heavily table skirted to remove all vegetable matter contamination. Also, the tags, belly wool, short wool, cotted wool, and open or tender wool along the middle of the back will need to be removed. For commercial marketing of black or naturally colored wool, prepare the fleece the same as for meat breed sheep. For specialty or niche markets, prepare in a manner similar to long and carpet wool breeds by skirting to the standards necessary for sale. The fourth step used to improve wool quality is full table skirting. This is a more precise way to remove contaminants and undesirable wool pieces from a fleece. Skirting requires additional skilled or trained labor and equipment. It is essential that growers talk to their marketing agent or potential buyers about whether or not skirting would be appropriate for their operation. Skirting is not recommended on lower value wool such as meat breed sheep or their crosses because it may not be cost effective. In addition, volume of wool and marketing decisions must be considered to determine if full table skirting is economical. The initial steps to prepare for skirting are similar to those used in the bellies out untied method. For example, frequent sweeping is necessary to reduce contaminants on the shearing floor, and belly wool should be removed and tossed aside. The fleece then needs to be removed from the shearing area. To pick up the fleece, use this technique. Walk up from the neck or front and straighten up the fleece. Bunch or fold the wool together, but do not roll it. Locate both breeches or rear legs and grasp with the thumb and the index finger of each hand. It is very important that the breech is not let go until the fleece is lying on the skirting table. Sweep the wool of the rear legs together and have your hands meet directly in front of you. Lift up and place the rear of the fleece on top of the bunch fleece. Reach around and wrap the rear of the fleece around the entire fleece. Spread or fan remaining fingers and put them underneath to lift it up. Pick up the fleece with your hands and carry it toward the skirting table. A few feet from the table, prepare for throwing by swinging your arms backward. While still walking forward in one continuous smooth motion, swing your arms and the fleece forward and upward away from your body. Open your arms wide to permit the fleece to fill the entire table. After the fleece lands on the table, let go of the rear legs. The fleece must land flesh side down to permit second cuts to fall through the slats on the skirting table. Consistent throwing and fleece preparation on the table are necessary for efficient and proper skirting. Skirt each fleece to remove only inferior portions. Removed stained wool, tags, belly wool, skin pieces, top knot, crutchings, second cuts, shanks or short leg wool, burrs, and other poor quality or contaminated wool. Place the skirtings, the removed pieces, in the appropriate off-sort lines. Do not overskirt. Each fleece must be carefully skirted so that only inferior wool is removed and all good wool remains with the fleece. Heavy or overskirting may result in higher prices for an individual line of wool, but generally does not produce a higher overall return for the entire wool clip. After skirting, fleeces should be folded in thirds and rolled or folded from rear to front with the flesh side out. The fleece then needs to be clasped and placed into the appropriate line. Research in both the United States and in other countries has demonstrated that breech removal does not fine up or significantly reduce fiber diameter variation of fleece wool lines. Fleeces with hairy or coarse breeches should be skirted similar to other fleeces. It is recommended that the entire fleece be put into the appropriate line by the wool classer.
Please pause now to review wool preparation methods.
Classing is the fifth step to improving wool quality. Classing is a grouping of like wool with like wool into uniform lines for commercial wool marketing purposes. Classing allows for more predictable processing for the mills. Wool must be uniformly prepared for efficient classing. Pre-sorted flocks that have been either fully table-skirted or prepared bellies out untied can be classed effectively. There are a number of factors to consider when determining the classing lines to be used. Breed of sheep or wool type and size of the wool clip are used as guidelines for setting up lines of wool. In the United States, main lines of wool from wool and general purpose breeds of sheep should be denoted with the letter A, and the lines from meat breeds of sheep denoted using the letter M. Within each wool type category, individual fleeces are classed into various lines according to characteristics of importance to the commercial wool processing industry. Each fleece is inspected for length and strength of fiber, fiber diameter, yield, and style. Based on these main characteristics, fleeces are grouped together to form uniform lines of wool for marketing. Off-sorts, such as belly wool, pieces removed during skirting, and locks are kept separate. Generally, larger flocks are classed at the ranch during shearing. Smaller flocks are usually classed after shearing at either a warehouse or wool pool, where large enough volumes of wool are collected to make classing practical. Classing performed at the warehouse or wool pool is termed as bulk classing. Some warehouses are set up to rehandle small volumes of wool for bulk classing. They employ trained, skilled personnel specifically for this purpose. A warehouse may have over 30 different lines of wool due to the variety of wool handled and the different market outlets available to them. As each fleece will be individually inspected and classed, properly prepared wool is more efficient to bulk class. Wool can also be bulk classed at wool pools. This requires uniform wool preparation by all pool members in order for classing to be beneficial. Wool pools generally perform bulk classing of both individual fleeces and full bags of properly prepared wool. For more information on wool classing, growers are advised to contact their marketing representatives or the American Sheep Industry Association's Wool Council. Packaging materials are an important consideration at shearing time. The right packaging not only helps reduce contamination of wool, but can also save the producer money. Use only new wool packaging materials and handle them with care to prevent contamination. When using wool bags, use at least a 12-ounce burlap. It is beneficial to get each sack as full as possible. Filling sacks to heavier weights actually decreases expenses because packaging costs are reduced and transportation is more efficient. Seams must be on the outside for ease of opening. Tie wool sacks with cotton string only, not with hog rings or poly twine. Keep the bags out of direct sunlight and do not store them directly on the ground or on concrete surfaces to avoid moisture from being drawn into the wool. Wool packs are another option. They can be either jute or high-density polyethylene, commonly called poly packs. Again, use only new packs, since used packs increase the risk of contamination. Remove any loose burlap or polyethylene that you find, and keep seams to the outside. Use 8 bale clips to close the packs properly. All wools need to be labeled properly. This helps with identification and record keeping. Standardized labeling will help create a more efficient wool marketing system. When labeling bags and packs, utilize the middle third of the bag and write with small, neat lettering about 2 to 3 inches high. Use approved stencil ink, which will not soak through the packaging and contaminate the wool. Never use branding fluid or aerosol sprays to label bags. All wool should be labeled with the grower's name, identification number or mark, along with the bag contents and bag number. The bag contents can include information on the breed, line, or preparation description. For wool that has been classed, the classer number should be listed above the grower's name. Each grower should maintain a record of their wool clip by bag, content, and weight. Wool pools and warehouses typically provide this information at pickup time. Wools which are classed must have a standard specification sheet filled out by the classer. Quality wool clips don't just happen by accident. Proper shearing, wool handling techniques, and preparation methods are essential. By working with your wool marketing representatives on both preparation and marketing options, you can benefit and increase the return on your wool clip.